Poem of the day. Asphalt Lilies. My breath stops often. The road is wider than thought. I bring you flowers. Today's poem was a haiku. 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. It takes some thinking to consolidate a message that you want to convey in your poetry. And you will have to choose carefully. Dig deep into your well of your collected dictionary and thesaurus and whatever words and whatever you want to paint in imagery to the reader and to yourself. Because as much as you're writing for an audience, you're also writing for yourself. You're creating something within you that is tangible. You can see it, you can visualize, you can come back to it. It partially chronicles your mindset, how you're thinking about this world, in this world, of this world, with life moving in and out of it. Yeah. I had another poem that I worked on this morning about Generation X. I was up early. These daylight savings times around this time of year have affected my body differently late in life. I've come to adapt to the changes, as Charles Darwin had said, 150 years ago, I don't even know, maybe if I looked it up. But he talked about not survival of the fittest, no, not at all. He talked about the capacity to adapt to environmental changes. That was the key. You adapt to changes. This Halloween was like no other Halloween. This Thanksgiving is going to be like no other Thanksgiving. This Christmas is going to be like no other Christmas. Those are just for us on this side of the world that follow these ritualistic patterns, right? So I didn't expand on the poem this morning, Generation X. Brought up a lot of visuals from my childhood. I'm the oldest of my generation. 1965 is when I was born. I'm 60 years old now. I look at my reflection in this phone and I don't see the boy I was. Grade school, junior high, high school, even college. I don't see myself the same as I was 5 years ago. And I'm just looking at this camera and seeing myself, leaving some permanence of some sorts as I'm going to load this up on, the social media of YouTube. Why this poem, Asphalt Lilies? I found myself on the road. I'd pick up a few things today. Like a lady I'd met online was giving away some big planter buckets that I wanted. They could be pricey. And she just gave them all to me. She and her husband bought a house not too far from here, about a 15-minute drive or so, on a beautiful piece of land, right, kind of hidden in the hills, down a slope, in a nice section of town. She reached out to me and said she had some more planter containers, and I gave her a suggestion to reach out to chipdrop.com, organization online that connects with local arborists all over, so that when they do a tree trimming and shredding, they'll drop down at your house and unload, a few yards of their wood chips so they don't have to dump them. And you can put them in your garden, on your landscape, this and that. And you want that because the wood chips will keep the moisture into the soil. They'll break down. They'll create microbial activity. You want all that. It's good. You're adding nature to nature, and you're just in nature. Your hands are dirty with dirt, and your fingernails, all these things, and you're planting things out. It's a day in the garden. When you're gardening, you're happy. It's like walking in the park, but it's your own garden. Okay. So I brought some guava that are ripe, and I brought her some Cuban oregano. She and her husband bought a big piece of land, a nice house they're redoing, and they've got fruit trees. So give her a lot of suggestions on what to do, but ground cover, drip irrigation, things like that. When I got home, I had picked up some of her wood chips that were dropped off. Too many pine needles, so I wasn't ready to take them all. Plus, there were some big chunks of stuff that I didn't want to use in my garden. I'd take a pile of the wood chips and put it in a planter container, and then I add some dirt and mix it with some aged horse manure and some compost that I had that the worms broke down in my compost bins. Yeah, that's right. Waste nothing. And I'm propagating guava, fuyu persimmons, and some plumeria. So I had to chop things away. I made a concoction of aspirin and rice water. I ground up the aspirin, actually ground it to a powder, put it in a cup. And so I start that, and took aloe vera. Once I've cut the little branch of the plant, the guava and the fuyu persimmons, scraped away at about a 1/4 inch at the bottom of the stem where I cut at an angle. Dipped it in the water, let it sit there for 10, 15 seconds. Then I stuck this end of the stick into the aloe vera. It is it helps with the rooting hormones. It's a rooting hormone, natural, and I got a powdered rooting hormone, and then I put them in this container, flat, and then I covered it, and I got them in the dining room. So I got about, I don't know, 15, no, maybe 20 little stems of guava, and then I put them in a pot. A bunch of them in a pot, put them underneath the guava tree where there's plenty of shade, and use some of the mulch to cover the top to keep the moisture going. So, and with some of the fuyu persimmons, what I did is I turned them upside down. I put an egg and some guava, not guava, some aloe vera meat and juice into the soil, and cracked an egg, and then turned the fuyu upside down. And I put a little plastic cover on top in a little pot to see if it'll start to root upwards. We'll see. I just saw things online and I'm learning. And there was a lady came by, walking right in front of me with her daughter. Daughter's maybe 10, 11, don't know. Lady was dressed in a long dress all the way down to her ankles. There's a Mormon church across the street, so I suspected. I said, hello. I said, hey, guys, want some guava? I said, like, sure. So we ended up talking. They're from Missouri. And they have 8 acres. So we ended up talking a lot of stuff. I gave them a lot of guava. Let them pick some apples that I had grown from seed outside, Honeycrisp. And then I gave him a tour of the backyard of my garden, backyard, right? Welcome. Um, it was good. So we talked for about 20 minutes. The kid was happy as a clam, looking at all the stuff, and I let him come to the museum, see all the artwork at the house, right? This is cool. I didn't know these people, but you always want to be a good neighbor. You always want to be a good person. You want to add to people's lives. You do. And in turn, when you're recognizing good people are in your world, or the best of people are in your world, you get that moment. As I've shared with people many times, don't measure your life by good or bad days. Measure your life by the moments. You got a crappy moment? Listen, it's a moment. Go forward, adapt. If it's a good moment, look around some more, and you'll see that the moment can be highlighted. The world is wild. There's a lot of people that'll take from you. They'll take your energy, that'll take your resources, take your money, and take your life. We're crazy. We are. A lot of people are kooky. And the system that we have in place doesn't really do an exceptional job of preventing that or, addressing the issues. This is, anyway, getting off track here. So the poem, Asphalt Lilies. Get on the road. I did. Picked up some poems from a lovely gal. We've been chatting. Got me 3 books. To the grocery store, picked up some items, went to pick up the wood chips, drop off some of the guava and Cuban oregano, chatted, right? Came back and met these lovely people. But when I went to pick up the pots and the wood chips, I decided to take another route, a road I'd never been on, in the backwoods. And it was great. I got new visuals. There was asphalt lilies in metaphor. I was looking for flowers, whatever that moment was, and I found them. Stay well. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Life is a challenge, but may peace and calm follow you. Stay well. Cheers.